إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة عبده وابن عبده وابن أمته ومن لا غنى به طرفة عين عن رحمته، وأصلي وأسلم على خير هاد المبعوث رحمة للعالمين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise be to Allah, the King of the world, the Master of the Day of Judgment. I bear witness no one is worthy of worship but Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the last and greatest messenger, was sent to mankind to bring them out of the darkness of this world to the light of this world and the hereafter. Amma ba'd. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our endeavors, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds during the month of Ramadan. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the will and the determination to continue. فإن من علامات قبول العمل المداومة عليه. From the signs of the actions to be accepted is to continue on doing it. To continue on doing it. And my beloved fellows, it's very important for you as Muslim to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rabbus Sana. To know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Lord of the whole year. So don't be Ramadan, and don't be a person who worships Allah only in Ramadan, and don't be the person who walks into the houses of Allah only in Ramadan, and don't be the person who fasts only in Ramadan, and don't be the person who stands in the middle of the night to ask Allah only in Ramadan. فإن الصالحين والأتقياء عملهم غير ذلك. The actions of the righteous people and the people who bought الجنة, other than that, فإن النعيم لا يدرك بالنعيم. الجنة cannot be reached and cannot be achieved with comfort, cannot be achieved with laziness, cannot be achieved with too much sleep, cannot be achieved with too much food. So it's very important to take the month of Ramadan and carry it with you, and proceed and continue living the way you were living during the month. That's if you lived. Very important. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, this is the time of Eid, and this is the times of happiness, and these are times of celebration, and these are times where we supposedly enjoying the achievements we have accomplished during the month of Ramadan. But it's very important for us, when we are celebrating these days, to remember while you are enjoying sitting here in peace and in comfort, that you have brothers who is the one of them cannot sleep afraid for his life. We have brothers all over the world today who are so scared for their life. The minimum that any human being can ask for is to live with dignity. And we have brothers, that thing even stripped away from them. So it's very important while you're sitting here to remember فإن المؤمن أخو المؤمن. The believer is the brother of the believer. And if you don't feel what they feel, then you have betrayed such brotherhood. So it's very important while we're sitting here in this beautiful area and the grass around us, that there are brothers cannot sit. There are brothers who are on the run. There are brothers that at any second, every time they hear a knock on the door, they feel their life is getting out of the wind. So appreciate what you have, and at the same time remember those brothers. Remember that while you are dressed very nicely and you have the new clothes on and your kids are happy with the new clothes, that we have brothers and we have sisters who can do that. We have brothers and sisters all around the world, including some in our communities. They can't afford to cover their awrah. They can't afford to cover their bodies. Kids and children perhaps die from heat or from cold. And we are here enjoying the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have blessed us with. We can cover our bodies. So remember that today. Remember, while you have all types of foods and all types of drinks, and we have reached a level where we complain and we object when we don't get the food we want, and we have started to complain about eating meat too much and chicken too much. You have brothers who can't even find one meal a day, and if they find it, just to keep them alive, maybe they can't even find the water to drink. Maybe they're living off leaves of the trees, just like the Sahaba, كما قال سعد رضي الله عنه. So appreciate what you have and remember them and remember their suffering. And we hear here and there our brothers and sisters starving in the east and in the west, everywhere. And you as a Muslim are obligated, you are as Muslims are obligated to keep these things on mind. Remember that العيد ليس لمن لبس الجديد، ليس العيد لمن لبس الجديد، ولكن العيد لمن خاف يوم الوعيد. العيد isn't I wear the new clothes and I come to the salah and this is my Eid. This is temporary Eid. The real Eid is when you hear ادخلوها بسلام آمنين. Enter it. Enter al-Jannah with peace, in safety. That is the Eid that we need to work for. This is a Eid that is like a vehicle or like a stage that we have to pass through. So it's very important not to forget. And this Eid khutbah is not to forget. Not to forget your responsibilities toward your ummah. Not to forget your responsibilities toward your communities. Not to forget your responsibilities toward your families. Not to forget your responsibilities toward yourself. At every level, the Muslim needs to work. At every level, he needs to strive. At every level, he needs to put the best of his efforts to come up with the best results. That is what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had taught us. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ إِذَا عَمِلَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَلًا أَنْ يُتْقِنَهُ. Allah loves when someone of you does something to perfect it, to master it, to do it to the best of his ability. No sloppiness, no place for sloppiness in Islam. No place. So every one of us needs to work according to his capabilities, needs to strive and excel wherever he is, whether it's in the masjid, whether it's on the street, whether it's at work, whether it's wherever, in the air or on the ground or in the sea. He needs to excel. We have seen people amongst us who react to things at two different extremes. Some of them react بتشنج, they react with non-common sense. They are very violent. The way they react is so irrational and unreasonable. And we find on the other sides groups that react so way far away from our deen, to the point where they're willing to sit with the Jew and the Christians to tell them, you're right, your religion is right as well as ours, and you as a Muslims come in the middle. You as a follower of the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you should come in the middle. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. You have to come in the middle. What is the middle? The middle isn't what you think is the middle. Because those at this extreme think they're at the middle, and those at this extreme think they're at the middle. The middle isn't what your desires tell you is the middle. The middle isn't what the environment around you tell you is the middle. The middle isn't what the situations around you tell you. The middle isn't what most people do. وَمَا أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. The middle is the way of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The middle is the way of the Quran, with the understanding of the best generations. The middle was the reason and the vehicle that gave and built a nation in 10 years. A nation that came to destroy Rome and Persia. In 10 years, they followed the middle. They excelled the way their Lord ordered them. Allah describes them, those whom He is pleased with, He describes them as they say, سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُونَ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. When they were ordered, when they were commanded, when they have an issue, isn't they go to the non-Muslims to solve their problems? They don't take it to courts to solve their problems. I know two brothers who took each other to court because of money. So when they stood in front of the judge, and he was a Jew, he said, you guys have the Quran and you come to me? A Jew. A Jewish judge appreciated their book more than they did. We have a treasure. We have the best deen. We have the best messenger. We have the best sharia. We have the best sunnah. We have the best manners. We have the best akhlaq. Yet we look for something less. أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير. أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير. أقوام الله سبحانه وتعالى أنزل عليهم الطعام من السماء فقالوا ادع لنا ربك يخرج لنا مما تنبت الأرض من بقلها وقثائها وفومها وعدسها وبصلها. People, Allah sent them food from heavens, yet they asked, we want garlic and onion and beans. ما لهم ما لهم. What's the deal with us Muslims? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't mention these things so we can laugh, or we can see, or we can have knowledge just for the sake of data, storing data. La. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing in His book He mentioned but for us to live and to practice and to act in accordance. Ya Abdullah, you are the slave of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you on this earth for one purpose, and everything in your life should be centered around it. Everything. Your food, your drink, your sleep, your work, your marriage, your life, your breath. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت. Your salah, your nusuk, طب your haya and your maut. Your maut. People have intention when they die. Your maut. Even those things that you don't have control of, you should tell Allah for you. For you. That's what Allah wants. Allah wants all of you. Allah wants you as a whole. Doesn't want you partially. So you have to give Him all of you. We are as Muslims in this world, and especially where we live, we have many challenges. Many challenges. And it's very important for us to know how to act. It's very important for us to know so we can survive with honor, with dignity. You are a Muslim, stand up and say you're Muslim. Look like a Muslim. Talk like a Muslim. We have the truth, and there is no doubt. We are Ahl al-Haq, and there is no doubt of it. And others are Ahl al-Batil, and there is no doubt of it. But we have failed to represent our truth. We have failed to present our truth manner-wise. We have failed to present our truth look-wise. We have failed to present our truth talk-wise, interaction, transaction, behaviors, morals, everything, even ibadah. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, you're responsible. Each one of us here, as long as not each individual amongst us, as long as not, and listen to this statement carefully, as long as not each individual of us here and everywhere think, as long as he or she does not think that they are the reason for the conditions of this ummah of defeat and hunger and starvation and oppression and prejudice and discrimination, we will never change. You and you and you and me and her, every person. I am the reason why you all in a bad position. I'm the reason why the whole ummah is suffering, because of my sins, because of my shortcomings, because of my failure to fulfill the covenant with Allah. I have brought it all upon the ummah. That's how you need to think. Then next time you decide to go off tangent, you remember, I'm not only harming myself, but I'm harming my ummah. Every time one of us sins, the victory and the change is delayed. So very important to understand that. Very important to live, to live the life at large, instead of being limited to your atmosphere or to your room. Very important. We want the change, we have to make the change. One person can do. Two people can do it. Collectively we work together. But if our hearts are divided, we can't get together. If I stand next to you in the salah and my heart is cursing you, how can we work together? We have to remove all these barriers. We have to live in a way that is pleasing to Allah, and one of the major things is to love each other. To love each other. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, while he's sitting with the Sahaba in the masjid, يدخل عليكم رجل من أهل الجنة. Right now a man will walk into the masjid, that man from the people of heaven. رجل من أهل الجنة بين أظهرنا. Imagine the situation. صادق المصدوق Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم telling them a man will enter. This man is guaranteed paradise. So what kind of imagination or what kind of feelings would you have? Have you been there? And I'll be sitting next to me some guy going to Jannah. So imagine. So the Sahaba waiting, and a man, simple man, not rich, not millionaire, not doctor, not scientist, not businessman, not CEO, regular man walks in with the shoes in his hand. And repeat day after day, the Prophet said, man from Al-Jannah will walk in, the same man walks in. You know what was the secret? Why he wasn't because he would stand every night praying. Wasn't because he would fast every day. Wasn't because he spent tons of money for the da'wah. Wasn't because he used to invite to Allah. It was because of one thing. He never held a grudge for a believer in his heart. He would not go to sleep without forgiving all the Muslims, all those who did bad to him, as well as those who didn't. So he deserved to be in Jannah. You see how easy to get to Jannah? But the issue is, don't get stuck with the story. The message that the Prophet ﷺ wants to have or to get across is bigger. Muhammad ﷺ is a big man. Muhammad ﷺ is a giant in the language of figures. Giant. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He wanted to teach them that if that is your attitude, and yours, and yours, and hers, imagine what kind of community we would have. Imagine. Do you think if that's our feelings, we will have brothers starving in Somalia? Do you think if that was the feeling, we will have brothers killed and murdered in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Chechnya, in Syria, in Yemen, everywhere you can think, in Palestine? Would we? We won't. You know why? Because if those are the types of hearts we would have, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not allow the kafir to have power over us. That's the key. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. We want the change. We have to make change. Ramadan is a message that invites to a change. You change your food habits, you change your drink habits, you change your sleep habits, you change your manners habits, you change your schedule. So isn't it time for us to change our hearts? Isn't it time for us to change our ummah? This ummah, it's time for it to reclaim its power. It's time for this ummah to reclaim the seat. We see what's happening to the world. The advanced and modern and civilized man isn't making it. Communism didn't work. Socialism isn't working. Capitalism is failing miserably. Perhaps capitalism, that man thought that is the solution to our problems, failed quicker than any other system. Quicker than any other system. And it will not get up. So this is the opportunity for us as Muslims to show the world what our religion has, not sit with the world and go with what they have, then what difference do we make? What difference did we bring to the table? Isn't it go sit in a church and in a temple and say, you're right and you're right, you worship a man and you worship wealth and money and people and power, and we worship Allah, and then we say we're the same? Doesn't work. Then where is the truth? It's gone. So we as Muslims, it's the time to submit to the will of Allah, to reclaim khayriyya and the preference that He had given us subhanahu wa ta'ala. فقال كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. This ummah, Allah says, best ummah brought forth, not for the ummah. Look, even in that there is concern for mankind at large. Allah says, you are the best ummah brought forth for mankind. And that's what we need to bring. Bring what's happiness to mankind. Read your history and see, when was it the Jews oppressed under the Muslims ruling? When was it the Christians oppressed? The way we are as Muslims oppressed all over the world under the Christian ruling. Go check your history and see how the Jews flourished and prospered under Muslim empire in Spain. A Jewish doctor in Hebrew University says, and I always repeat this statement, وَالشَّاهِدُ مَا شَهِدَتْ بِهِ الْأَعْدَاءُ. He said that the Jews never lived in a better symbiosis in their history than the time they lived in Muslim Spain. In Muslim Spain, they prospered and they flourished and they grew and they advanced. No one bothered. No one bothered. Yet we hear all time complaining and crying out and Holocaust, and we Muslims condemn that. Has it happened the way they describe it? Yet they are the first ones to go to our brothers in Palestine and do the same exact thing. Right now, at this moment I'm standing here, they're bombing the Muslims on their Eid. Have they had any consideration for the Ummah of Islam? They will not dare. They will not dare. But when we went away from Allah, He subhanahu wa ta'ala humiliated us to the worst of the worst. So it's very important for us. The solution, return to Allah. That is the bottom line. Our solution for the solution for our problems, to return to Allah. You return to Allah. Your family returns to Allah. You do, and you take care of your family, and I take care of mine, and he takes care of his, and she takes care of hers. Khalas. The problem is solved. The ummah is nothing but families together. Each one stand up and fulfills his responsibilities. We're done. We're done. So isn't it something difficult to do? Especially when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you. So that is something for you to reflect during those days. The day of Eid and the days to come, and the Hajj in 2 months. Reflect. Live with your heart for Allah. Time for me to make a change. Time for my family to change. Living like that isn't acceptable. لا تسقني ماء الحياة بذلة بل فاسقني بالعز كأس الحنظل. It's time for us to live with our heads up. Up. You know who your grandfather? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know who your brother? Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr and Umar. Such people should live with their heads up. Up. Not arrogant, but up with confidence. Like Abu Dujan. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد. الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله وأصلي وأسلم على خير هذا المبعوث رحمة للعالمين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. My brothers and sisters in Islam, very important message I will deliver to you right now. And that is something we've been striving to achieve. And this message is every individual needs to get involved. Every individual in the ummah, in this community especially, needs to be involved. Perhaps our community is one of the smallest communities in America. No comparison to New Jersey, to New York, to Michigan, to all these places, Boston. So if we do not all come together and cluster together, we will be weak. We will be weak. So we need to work together. Masajid need to come together. Leadership need to be unified. That's what I believe. I believe a major way and a major achievement in accomplishing unity is to unify the leadership. And there is no easier than doing that when the leaders are aiming and working for Allah. But those who work for their hawas and their self-interest will never bring you. We have to be unified on the heart of one man. Wallah. That is how we can be successful. One man fears Allah with the taqwa of Allah. People respect. That's how a society and an ummah will grow. But too many leaders here and there, and everyone wants to do his own things, we will always be fragile. We will always be fragile. We managed to come here, I think 8 masajid together for Salat al-Eid, for one day, maybe 1 hour, maybe 2. If we can manage to do that for the whole year, you know how much difference we can make. We don't have to be any more apologetic. We don't have to be any more on the defense. We don't have to be any more scared when they knock our doors. We got power. We have power. But the problem is we're not doing it. We're not taking advantage of it. So look and follow and obey those who want to take you to the right side of the river. Get involved in your masjid. Get involved in learning your deen. Get your children involved. Isn't it the responsibility toward your children just to shove food down their throat? That is not the responsibility or the only responsibility you have. We have got so busy feeding the physical of our kids until they got fat. And their spirit and their souls are so skinny to almost non-existence. We need to feed them. We brought them to this country. We brought our kids to this country. If we do not provide for them the life that Allah wants, we have betrayed the amana. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم will not get the smell of paradise he who dies betraying his trust. He who dies betraying what Allah entrusted him with. Your children are a trust. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of us is a guardian, and each one of us is responsible about those whom he guards, and no one more important than his children and his wife. So take care of that. Put your foot down and be the man that Allah wants you to be. Be in charge. And the women as well, the mothers. We leave our kids with you. We leave our children with you. You are the one who's raising them. So fear Allah in how you take care of our kids. Fear Allah on how you're raising the next generation. Fear Allah فأنت نصف المجتمع وتنشئ النصف الآخر. You are half of the ummah and you raise the other half. So it's very important for us to understand those messages, and very important for us to reflect, and very important for us to practice. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر وردنا إلى ديننا ردا جميلا. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين.